Hi, thanks for joining me. Let's do a little follow-up on my last video, which was the employment numbers from Friday, May 10th. And the employment numbers were actually quite very good. But I am skeptical as to these numbers because, quite frankly, they're just too good to be true, and there's really no rational reason for them to be that well. I went into the Ontario, and Ontario kind of says the same thing. Now, this is Doug Ford's economy. I don't know if he's turned it around that quickly, but for 2019, apparently we made, for the first quarter, 79,000 new jobs. It seems like quite a good number, and that's indicated here in this column. It's definitely an improvement from the fourth quarter and the third quarter of last year. But I am just like, why and how? It just doesn't make a lot of sense, because when you look at things, it just doesn't seem to be going that route. I mean, to me, it seems to be going the opposite way. We're going to look at the latest data, which is, go right to the latest one. Now here's, well, scroll up, just excuse me when I scroll up. Now here are the new car vehicle numbers. Now it's April, and March, April, May is good months, and then again in the fall, that's when car sales pick up. Traditionally, that's what it is. They were expecting 190, they got 187. So that's kind of not really backing the whole retail industry exploding myth that we're kind of getting here. Now the latest information, which was published Wednesday, May 15th, is the inflation rates. Now this is again puzzling, because quite frankly there's a lot of factors that fall into this, and they kind of tend to say no, inflation is much greater than the 2% per year that the government is posting. Let me give you a couple indications, right? First off, we trade with the United States. Our most significant partner is the United States in both exports and imports. And we import a lot of food from the United States. And when our dollar decreases in value, the costs go up. Now, since Trudeau, this is the dollar value chart for the last 5 years since Trudeau's been elected, and that would be back in 2015. The dollar compared to the American dollar was at about between 105 and 110. Today, it's up at 134, almost 135. Yeah, so that's what it's trading today. So for us to buy something from the United States actually costs almost 30% more than it did 5 years ago. So that in itself would be inflationary. If they're their number one trading partner and we're importing a lot of food and stuff from them, that 2% inflation seems now rather low. Now the other thing too is, here's to back it up. These are the import price increases. What it costs to import goods, and it's obviously costing more than what it used to. And that's due to the fact that the Canadian dollar is weakening compared to the American dollar and other currencies. So not just the American dollar. If we're importing from Europe, same thing. We can't import as much as we used to. One final thing, we're going to look actually at the inflation rate. So they're saying that the annual inflation rate is at 2%. Now some of this is kind of like, oh my God, I don't believe they're actually posting this. But Shelter is apparently at is increased for the year at 2.7%. Okay, fine. You can figure that out. Transportation's increased 2.5% with a downward pressure from gasoline. This is April. This came out in April. And what happened in April that kind of makes you think, wait a minute, what's going on with the gasoline prices? We got a bump. We got the carbon tax was at least thrown on 4 provinces across Canada. Unless those other provinces really made up for it, but those 4 provinces should indicate that gasoline costs have gone up considerably. But and quite frankly, gasoline went up beyond the 5 cents that the government added. It's now about 20 cents more than before the carbon tax. So here it is. They're saying that gasoline has been decreasing. Where is this information coming from? I'm starting to think that the government is really starting to fudge these numbers. And a lot of governments do fudge numbers. Everybody wants their government to obviously look good, right? So when when nobody's looking, they'll fudge numbers. China's been doing it for years. But I mean, there is a backlash to that. There is a consequence to fudging numbers, and that's losing credibility. But it does look like these numbers are starting to get a little iffy. Let's put it that way. They're getting iffy. And I'm gonna keep watching this stuff. Obviously, you can't keep this up forever. If the job numbers are not that great, they're gonna obviously level off. We'll see the next month and see if there's not a correction in the job numbers, and we're gonna see about this inflation rate. My own personal experience, just by daily shopping, daily grocery getting, I've noticed that it's harder to make ends meet, and the government is saying that the inflation rate is only at 2%, and wage growth is at 2.6%. So we should be being better off. My personal feeling is that no, I'm not better off, and it's much worse in the last couple of years. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll keep you updated on this.